So the big question is this: how are those in the self-storage industry like us going to be successful in today's market? That's the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is Jim Ross, and welcome to the Self-Storage Show. Hi everyone, this is Jim Ross in the Self-Storage Show. In this edition of Storage Spotlight, I got Brandon Snyder. How's it going, Brandon?
Good, Jim. How are you?
Good. As of hot off the presses, as of what? Just I was looking on LinkedIn. Your title now is Director of Business Development for Storsmart Insurance.
Yeah, semi-hot off the press. Probably about six months ago. I just little lax updating the LinkedIn. Actually, the work anniversary reminded me to give a title update there.
Yeah, come on, you got to be on that LinkedIn profile. Keep it updated. I get some people look at it like it's been like 3 years since I last logged on to LinkedIn. Like, oh, okay. I guess some people it's not very high profile.
Yeah, I try. I know I do get on there often just to check out what's going on in the network, but that was one thing that slipped my mind as far as the title change there. I was still working a lot in the West region, so just
Good.
kind of seeing.
That's how I got accustomed to met you out west where I'm at, and you came out and you see you at the shows and that. And again, with this show, I try to have guests on and vendors on that are going to be of value to the listeners and that. And I've purposely have held off when it comes to having any from the insurance end of it because, well, no, I'm supposed to play favorites, but of course I use you guys, so that's obviously why I wanted to have you on. So I'm glad it finally worked out. We can get a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate that.
So before we get into StoreSmart, give me a little background on yourself. How'd you get involved?
Well, I actually got involved. Speaking of LinkedIn, it just reminded me it was 6 years past. So the initial run with StoreSmart when I started, I had an insurance background. I actually went to one of our storage facilities to learn a little bit about the storage business, how things transacted on a daily basis, and then I jumped into a training role with its big piece to our company is trainers traveling around the company and getting sites up to speed with regards to the insurance side of it. So I did that for about a year and a half, covered most of the country. I think, interesting fact, I only have about 4 states left I got to get to, and they're not easy states to get to. So one day I'll make it to Hawaii and Alaska. But I did that for about a year and a half. And
Wait, you
then,
said you said there's only 4 states you haven't visited?
yeah, just 4 left.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy travel. All right, do you have like one of those decals in the back of your car where you have like mark off what states you visited so you can see where you've been?
No, I need the scratch off map,
Yeah, there you go.
but yeah, one day, one day. So yeah, that's a year and a half, and that was really eye-opening. Just you get to see the different levels of operations, and really the true fragmentation in the self-storage market became really apparent at that point. And about, I guess, right around a year and a half into that, I ended up taking our role in the Midwest. We never had really any developing the Midwest region, helping operators out there. So I moved to Indiana, from Pennsylvania over to Indiana, and then I wasn't there too long. I moved a little bit further west out to Arizona, where, as you said, we met and spent a lot of time. It was 4 years kind of developing, building up our western region, and just as of 6 months ago, moved back to our Pennsylvania office, and now work kind of more on a national level with both existing clients and then new clients as well.
You moved from the heat to the cold. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of the moving piece of it may have been the least enjoyable,
Oh, I
but
bet.
the travel time and being out on the road and that piece of it I actually enjoy it. And I know you do a lot of that too, actually going out and putting faces with names, and that part's pretty enjoyable in the self storage industry. Everybody's pretty easy to work with, and enjoyable conversations. But yeah, it's not fun to load up a moving truck in the middle of June in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
that sounds terrible. Well, so for that aside, with StoreSmart, but I don't want to just gloss it over because again, maybe a lot of people aren't aware of what you guys do. Kind of in a nutshell, what is StoreSmart Insurance?
so I believe there's three main components to StoreSmart and truly any tenant insurance piece of it. And when you you look at a self-storage facility, everybody has different risk management portfolios, and tenant insurance is certainly a piece of that and should be a piece to everybody's risk management portfolio, or as they address that. And we're a pay with rent program. It integrates in with the big box software companies, and the premise or thought behind it is you're building a wall of protection between you and your tenants in the event something happens to their stuff. Knock on wood, something unforeseen happens. You do everything you can to protect your stuff, the tenant stuff, at a facility. But Mother Nature, what have you, the fence only keeping out the good guys. Uh, the tenant, they look for the owner to compensate them in some way, shape, or form, and the lease is stating they're not responsible. So uh, we are able to be that middle ground, that buffer there to take care of those tenants and defuse the situation. So bar none, I believe that's the most important piece to it. There's certainly uh, you're able to administer the program and build a stream of revenue for your time in that piece of it. And then lastly, just today and age, I believe it's a service to the tenants that truly lag, or there's a lapse in coverage in most cases there. Some homeowners and renters policies have some sort of coverage for it. I could probably spend a whole second piece on that, but just leave it at the fact that there's a lot of times a lapse there, and it's a good service to those tenants that are moving in. So in a generalization from tenant insurance, I believe that's the most important piece of it. And from Storesmart, our niche may be best described from our history, which is truly real estate, apartments, affordable housing. We've developed boat marinas, homeowners associations,
Hmm.
really all over the map. But we've had 50 of our own self-storage facilities, and just added a few customer service levels to the tenant insurance piece that have really helped develop owners' participation rates for tenants in the program.
Yeah, well, that's what kind of made me gravitate towards you guys because again, there's plenty of other insurances out there, but what you stands helps you guys stand apart from everybody is those training programs and really helping guide people to make sure they're getting the most use out of insurance and not just. I kept telling you many times I'll take oversight or I'll do a consultation or an audit, and I literally will ask them. Of course, that's one of my questions is, well, what kind of insurance do you have for the tenants? And I literally get sometimes like, well, I think we have, and as soon as they say something like that, I'm like, oh wow, obviously they don't, the port managers don't know. And so with you guys, it's fantastic. So yeah, kind of walk us down a little bit on kind of what you guys do with the training program.
Yeah, well, what we learned, and again, this was actually from our own experience. Most real estate self-storage operators are real estate developers, or maybe they own a construction company and got into the storage business. You know many of those stories, right? You have they're operating multiple businesses a lot of times, and so some of the additional pieces to operate more efficiently, more effectively, reduce liability, they don't always make it to their radar. And our concept and process behind this was just to bring some of the education and training to the operator, and that's done in the form of basically old-fashioned. Some people call us crazy, but a lot of times the sales director will go out and sit down and meet with the owner so they can fully understand the importance and be educated on what the product is, how it operates, implementation, and then the follow-up to that is we send one of our right now we have 4 or 5 people traveling the country at all times, going from site to site, each individual site, training the manager, educating them on how to implement the insurance effectively, make sure they're taking care of their tenants, and again reducing liability, not just for the owner but for the tenant too, if something happens. And that's been our niche. It took us a while to figure it out in our own facilities, and so we brought that out to the masses, which has really set in.
Yeah, I think I was probably one of those people that called you crazy when I heard it. You guys do the one-on-one trainings like that, and but it's true. I mean, once you sit in on one of those, it's so much more effective versus just a nod or oh sure that sounds good, or doing like over the phone type of training or everything online, which is great. It has its place there too. But when you have that one-on-one training like that, it's just so much more impactful. And of course, more impactful, the more the managers are going to actually be utilizing it and making it work, and everybody wins.
Yeah, you got it. There's more of a there's not just a how. So here's how you do it. There's also a why component, which really helps open the eyes of the on-site managers.
And again, if you had to put a little 2 minute thing on all, like what is the why? Because again, a lot of times I'll get this. I mean, I kind of know the answer, but I get people that will like, oh, the owner. Literally, I'll get this like the owner just wants more money, and they just look at it as a revenue stream, which it is, but there's a bigger why there. And what do you think that would be when you're explaining that to the managers who are doing these trainings?
Yeah, without a doubt. Even when I sit down with the owner, the why the why you need to start with is another layer on top of your lease. So your lease is your first layer of protection. It's everybody's layer of protection. And when I sit down with an owner, I always tell them, I'm not an attorney. I talk a lot about the regulation and compliance side of in the insurance world, but if you don't have a self-storage attorney writing your lease, you've started off way behind the
Mm-hmm.
curve. A lot of times people know somebody locally or an attorney that works in real estate. There's state-specific, clause-specific pieces in the self-storage industry that need to be in there. One of those being the insurance section of the lease. So we are, as a tenant insurance company, in addition to and another layer of protection beyond the lease, and that certainly stands above any type of uh, revenue that can be generated from that. Because as an entrepreneur, the idea is to make money and then do your best to set up yourself up that nobody can turn around and drop a lawsuit or try and take
Mm-hmm.
the daily operating income from you. So anything an operator can do to create additional layers of protection just makes sense to them when they fully understand how it's implemented and the whole process behind it. So yeah, without a doubt, I 100% believe that liability comes first. There is a revenue component, and then as I mentioned earlier, just it has become just a service level now for tenants.
Yeah. And again, once you're all signed up and gone through that process and got training, all that, of course, I love you guys with the marketing stuff that you have as well. You give great materials, for people as well. It looks professional, and the more professional it is, it's easier to sell when you have a customer in front of me doing that rental. So anyway, whoever does your design work and all that kind of stuff, kudos to them because it looks fantastic.
And the new pop-up banners, that those are our greatest marketing assets. Anybody in the self-storage industry has seen those. Which ones I'm talking about, the ones that they thought were funny to put kind of all of the sales directors on
Well,
the
no.
life size. Yeah, that's our newest marketing piece, but more trade show esque
Well,
than
see,
office esque. But
okay, for the trade show, so you don't need to travel. Just like program it to have like the facts that you just push a button and have it be your voice and just spit out. Have a cardboard cutout, man in the booth. You can stay home. You're done. No, I love the cardboard cutouts. I like to give you crap, but I like them. They're good. Um,
they are entertaining.
but again, when it comes to obviously, you never want to have to use the insurance. I mean, it's great to have it. You don't want to have to use it because that means something bad happened. But I've personally had some stuff go down at some sites, and it's so much more easy and less stressful for the managers and for the owners and for everyone that's involved to just say, here, call these guys, they will handle it. And it's from top to bottom, that kind of stuff, and going through the claims. It was just a very seamless process, and not just from our end. I've talked to the customers that have been affected and had to go through the process, and they were very, very happy.
Yeah, and that's when it's an insurance company's time to shine, right? That's what the tenant's paying for, or the insured's paying for, and again, you don't hope for something to happen to utilize it, but in the event that it does, if you can keep the tenant happy, ultimately that'll keep the manager happy, the ownership happy, and it's a small circle of storage life out there, and it just makes life so much more convenient for everybody. So everybody can claim, that's their kind of time to shine, and you don't really know until you know, right? Until you have that claim experience. But that's certainly the way we've always looked at it. Is when something happens, that's when somebody's the most upset, and as a claims team, you want to diffuse it and get them back to kind of level ground, and then take care of them the best you can.
No, that's what sold me, honestly, because nothing had happened the first probably 2 years, and then I had this event happen. I'm like, oh well, I guess we're gonna test it out now, and it went flawlessly. So no, you guys did a great job. So anyways, let's end it with this. With anyone that's listening, and obviously insurance is very important. So to get a hold of you or to Storesmart in general, what's a good contact?
Yeah, they can certainly get a hold of me directly, and since I am a little bit working nationally now, a little bit coast to coast, and helping out some of our newer team members, I can direct it to the most appropriate person. We certainly have some other staple sales directors that are out there, but just for ease of communication, whether it's myself or I introduce them to one of our other sales directors, they could certainly call me directly or email me, whatever's easiest.
Okay. And let's give out that information, please.
Sure. My direct line is 717-855-4495, and my email address is B as in Brandon, Snyder, Snyder at storesmartinsurance.com, and there's no E in store, so STORSMART, and then the word insurance. So B Snyder at storesmartinsurance.com.
Perfect. Well, good deal. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time. I'm glad the schedule finally worked out. Traveling man, we're able to get this recorded.
Yes, it did finally get together, and I appreciate you setting it up and having me on here. And I look forward to catching up with you soon, Jim.
So sounds good. All right. Take care,
All
Brandon.
right, take care. Bye bye.
Bye.